I remember the first word he spoke. Yeah, not not a word that should be issued. Of course. Second word was dad. Third word was bottle. But you know, he was a quick crawler. He crawled everywhere. He was delayed in the walking. Um, a lot of the pictures I have when he was an infant, most infants sleep for 16 to 18 hours a day. Not Sebastian. Sebastian was awake for 16 to 18 plus hours a day. Like when he fell asleep, it's because he ran out of energy. Like the batteries died as he was crawling across the floor. That was the first thing that led me to think that maybe something was special about my son. So that started the trips into the hospital. For the first 6 to 8 months of his life, he was pretty. We were in and out of the hospitals all the time. He was sick. Uh, couldn't do much to keep him not from being sick. But after about 8 months, he stopped being sick. His immune system finally took over, and hardy little boy. The flu, pneumonia, and if he got sick, I ended up getting sick. And we were noticing that he was having difficulty speaking, delay in speech, motor, gross motor skills, fine motor skills. There was a lot of stuff that things had to be changed. We kind of knew he was special. He wasn't going to be a normal child. So things had to change. His sleep improved once his health improved, but boy, don't sleep 8 hours a day. He could be awake for 14, 16 hours a day. He was definitely walking beforehand. Once he started walking, it wasn't really walking. He ran. He ran.
He's got a big heart. He's loving. He's inquisitive. He can be stubborn at times. He loves to play video games. He loves animals. He thoroughly loves animals. He likes plants. He likes to, grow things. He likes to take care of things. He loves his video games. Boy, the kid loves his video games. He does like creeks. He loves to go fishing with me. But if he's in the city limits, he's, video games. He'd probably be, maybe an arcade or something.
That he wanted to step into a mound of what he thought was dirt, and it was fire ants. And since then, it's always been, he doesn't like to get his feet in the dirt. He likes to have his socks and shoes on.
He played games at my house. Mom, he never expressed anything about his mom and dad's stepfather's place. He liked the dogs. Normally, I would call him every day or every other day at about 3:30 because he would be home from school by then and either be working on his homework, or if he didn't have any homework, he was doing chores that his mom had him doing. And I would call him to ask him how school was. Normally, we would talk for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and it was routine. Call him up. How was school? I love my son. I love my son a lot. And I have thoroughly aggravated him at different points in times because I'm his dad. And he has never once walked out my front door. No matter how mad I've made him.
He rode the bus. He's in their Why We Try program. It's for the special needs children, where they are doing the same tasks that the mainstream does, but they get a little bit extra time. If they have like 30 questions, then in the Why We Try program, they get like 20, and they get extra time to answer them. So they're still learning the same stuff. He's very intelligent. He's very smart. He just lacks social skills and reading of people's body language. He likes things to be in a routine. He likes to control his environment. I don't know, because I've never seen him have to deal with this. Most of the time, if he's with me, He gets his information from me about interacting with people. If I sit there and I'm meeting new people, I talk to him. It's like, son, you can introduce yourself if you would like. If he does, he does. If he doesn't want to, I don't make him. His feet were growing. The last time I had him for the last weekend I had him, his mama told me that his shoes weren't fitting anymore, and she asked me to get him shoes, and he wanted a pair of boots, so we went to Boot Barn and got him a pair of boots. No, I mean the only time he goes outside at night at my house is to put the trash in the trash can, which is right outside my front door. That's it. He does have a cell phone. When he has access to like YouTube and stuff like that, he is glued to his phone because he likes to watch videos about Minecraft and he likes to watch videos of people playing Minecraft. I know that his phone was locked down. He had no internet access. He only had the ability to take pictures on his phone, text on his phone, FaceTime, and telephone calls. Everything else was locked down on his phone. It doesn't add up for him to break routine and to leave the house with no shoes, no socks on, no coat. Something just doesn't make sense. I gave my son another chance to straighten his behavior up and actually apply himself at school, which he is fully capable of. But and he has he's straightened up some, but he's still coming. He's already registered for school up here. I want him here. He wants to be here.
So if he was running away, I am. He probably would have taken his backpack. He would have taken his Switch. He would have taken his games because he likes to play video games. He would have taken toys because his toys are, they're his. Probably would have taken his phone too. He was responsible enough. He stayed home alone during break. 15, physically, mentally, not so much. He is a child. All right, he is 15. He is not an adult.
He's not a morning person, from my experience. All right, he don't want to get up. He's a teenager. Eggs is a staple, but his favorite. I mean, he loves bacon. The boy loves bacon. The boy loves eggs. His favorite thing in the world, last time I knew, was a toasted peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But bacon, he likes sausage, gravy, and biscuits. I cook. That boy, it's like trying to put weight on him is like me trying to lose weight. He came over here for a week and he grew 2 inches, I think. His feet keep growing. Had to buy him new shoes. That's how we knew what shoes were. What he has is because his feet had grown and his shoes were no longer fitting him. I've literally tried to get him to take this phone that I'm using talking to you right now. And I was like, I told him, I was like, son, I'll wipe it. I'll do a reset. We'll take your Gmail account that you have and we'll hook it up here. And we'll let you have your own Call of Duty mobile account. I don't want it, Dad. I just want to play on yours.
Oh.
Okay. So, because I keep trying to tell you, you have your own account, and I'll have mine, and we could be on the same team.
My son has never been an eloper. He's never been one to go missing. If he's mad at you, good luck. If he's mad at you, he's a teenager. His whole thing about being mad is he's going to try to stay mad at you as long as possible. Speaking of phones, he was so locked down on that phone that he would, when he came to my house, he would literally plug it in and leave it in the kitchen because that phone couldn't do anything.
But most of the time, he was on YouTube watching videos. He was on YouTube watching videos. And the worst part about it, in my opinion, is he would watch videos on how to deal with being bullied. To me, that means he's using the internet
to teach himself on how to deal with problems in his life. I mean, if you look at it, the fact is that there were people in that neighborhood that knew he exists because the bus stopped and he would get on and get off, but they didn't see him. They didn't see him playing with other kids in the neighborhood. And if he didn't have internet access or any type of access in the house, then I'm sorry. I know people in jail that have internet access more than my son did.
Well, we found out about the chromosomal deletion syndrome at a very young age. I remember him sitting on the threshold between the living room and the kitchen, and just sitting there, and you buy him all the toys he wanted, but he was going to go for that. You give him an empty 2-liter, and he would play with that more than all the other toys that you bought him. All right, and it's like, okay, well, whatever makes him happy, And at one point in time, it was about 45 minutes that he just sat there and laughed the whole time. And Katie was on one side, I was on the other, and we were just making funny faces at him. And he just kept laughing. It was, swimming. Boy loved to go swimming. Sebastian, on the other hand, he's swimming in a lot of different pools. Saltwater pools, freshwater pools, chlorine pools, but it's always been pools. He never really liked the beach because he didn't like the sensation of the water around his feet. When he was younger, it didn't really matter but as he got older, I've got pictures. I've got plenty of pictures of him dirty. But that was before he started talking and, dressing himself. And, then it was like he didn't want food. He didn't want himself dirty. And it's like, you still got to take a shower, boy. He's different at my house than he is at his mom and stepfather's. So he loved anime. He loved watching cartoons. Even though he's 15, I mean, one of his favorite ones, he loves ramen. We have a Japanese restaurant here in Clarksville. I will take him just to eat ramen. But, we'll spend all day watching Naruto. So when we go to dinner, he's in the, he'll want to go have ramen. He likes a lot of anime and cartoons. Boring movies would probably be his go-to. He doesn't like to watch old, I like Stargate movies, old Star Trek movies. He doesn't even like the old Star Wars movies. If it's not new, he doesn't really like it. If it's not his generational thing. To the park and stuff like that, he always loved to run. I mean, he liked to always play tag. Anything that got his blood pumping and him running around. When we were in California, I was teaching him how to play soccer. I drew the line at football. And I was just like, I can't have him have a head contact injury or something like that. Sometimes it would be literally nothing that you would observe because everything's coming from his perspective. But stress is one of them. I mean, I've seen him. Again, hindsight's 20/20, but stress. Probably feeling like you're not in control of yourself. You have no control over your life. I have seen him stay up for 2 days. 2.5 days straight from overstimulation. He's gotten overstimulated before on road trips, and he'll stay awake for the whole road trip, coast to coast. They're trying to get him to actually get behind the wheel of a steering wheel for a vehicle for me to even teach him. He's like, no, Dad, I don't want to do that. I'm like, you think I'm going to drive you around your whole life? He was like, I'm not going anywhere, so why do I need to drive? Really kind of depended on his mood on that one. Sometimes it was ice cream. A lot of times it would be like Debbie snacks. Like he liked Nutty Bars. Uh, he loved zebra cakes and Swiss roll cakes. I still have a box of his Fiber One granola bars up there in the cabinet. It's not open. It's he finished off one of his last ones when he was here. It really kind of depends on his mood because here, I'd say his least favorite activity is going to bed, but his favorite activity is sleeping. And I told them when they came in, I said, listen, his room is probably a mess. You know, just bear with it. And when they walked in, they were like, his room is cleaner than my kid's room. He doesn't like cleaning his room. You know, when he's awake, he loves playing with his Legos. He'd be underneath the bed playing on his little Nintendo Switch thing. He's allergic to grass. That's about it. He had a pocket of fluid on the right bilateral part of his brain. It's been there since he was born. You have to watch him, make sure he doesn't suffer any head injuries or anything like that. It was too big for them to put a stent. It was not big enough to put a stent in, but still big enough to actually cause damage if he had. That's why I didn't want him in football. I didn't want him putting on a helmet and going, head first into something, because anything that might cause damage to his head is not something like I want my buddy to be safe. For him to leave and not have his shoes, coat, take his switch or his phone, stuff that I know that he want with him if he was going to run away. No. But for him to leave without shoes or anything else on there, the situation would have to be severe enough for him not to be able to grab that stuff. The park that I've done 2 or 3 interviews at, he loves to play there. He likes to go to the pond over by the high school, which is a 45-minute trip in my truck, and Yellow River, which is clear out in Palmyra. So, but would he know how to get out to those areas? He had speech therapy. He had speech therapy. He had fine motor control classes. He had gross motor control classes. You name it, whatever it was I could get him into, I got him into. This is the safest place he knew because he felt safe here. Of course, he's going to feel safe in my sanctuary because he had his own little sanctuary here too. You want to know why he slept all the time when he was here? I didn't give him sleep aids. Literally was asked what I did for him to sleep here at my house. And I told law enforcement, hot shower and some sleepy time tea, which is still up there in the cabinet, bought at Walmart. I do it myself so that I can get to sleep a little bit easier. That's it. I don't believe in this medication and stuff that he was taking. I never did. And until he was 8 years old, he wasn't on any medication. Because when he was here doing homework during COVID, he did his homework. I didn't have to worry about it. Mr. Chris, I don't like the fact that he's, you got him wearing underwear at your house. Well, we don't have the accidents at my house that he seems to be having at your house. So why, again, am I going to have my son wearing a fucking diaper at my house when he can get up and go use the bathroom and not have an accident? Both Chris and Katie and everybody was like, he is a different child when he comes back from living with you. And because he's a different child, It's like I kept trying to tell him if they're having a problem with him, let me talk to him. Let me know what you'd like me to address so that I can speak to him. Me and Sebastian could, from an early age, me and Sebastian communicated. Like, before he could even speak, he would do grunts and sounds and stuff like that, and point, and I'd know exactly what he wanted. And it upset some people in life, but it's like, it's not my fault. I know what my son wants. You know, our wavelengths were more in tune. I connected to my son. Said that's always been one of the things that helps transition him is music. Even when he was in a bad mood, there's not a cheese that me and him haven't tried that we haven't liked. His favorite cheese, his go-to for favorite cheese was always baby Swiss. You know, it's like that big, comes with the little holes and everything else in it. Yeah, that's always been his go-to, is Swiss. And that's what he's always gotten here. And there's nothing like a fried, it's Virginia brand baked ham is his favorite lunch meat to go with his Swiss. And grilled ham and cheese sandwiches were one of his favorites. And boy loves mushrooms, raw, cooked, sauteed. It doesn't matter. He loves his mushrooms. And then when it comes down to the spaghetti, you know, he likes his fresh grated Parmesan. He chose to not wear it. He tried it. It was like pulling teeth from an alligator. And he was given the choice. And he chose not to wear it. He had a cartilage buildup right here on his chest. That was, you know, it's part of his CQ20 deletion. It leads to a lot of facial disfigurement and body disfigurement. And that's just one of the things. And when he chose not to wear it, then it's a choice you live with. No matter what we did, I tried to tell him, I was like, it's to help you in the long run. But if you choose not to wear it, it can't make you do something you don't want to do. He was a better child. He had more understanding here, which allowed him to relax. It allowed him to develop better. It allowed him to be more open for growth, for growing up. Man, his favorite thing was Virginia baked ham and bacon. His best breakfast that he liked was sausage, gravy, and biscuits and eggs. I mean, he liked tofu too. But that's only when we went out to, you know, to the hibachi restaurants. But boy loves California roll. He liked fish. He liked the turkey. He loves salmon. He likes steak, medium rare. That's the only thing that me and my son disagreed on. He was a Swiftie. He was part of the chess team last year at school. I mean, he likes to play Legos. That's the biggest puzzle piece. He's come over here for like a week on like spring break or whatnot. And he's like, Dad, I'm not tired. He still actually has his blonde hair, but now it's starting to get brown and darker brown. And by the next couple of years, his hair will probably be as dark as mine. He's a kid in motion, and I hope he's still in motion now. He likes machinery. His stepdad he's a crane operator, and Sebastian likes heavy equipment. So when they were living in Hendersonville, they were digging out flowers and stuff, and Chris put him into one of them, and he did a wonderful job. Chris was teaching him how to operate heavy equipment. And they sent me a video of it because I know what picture you're speaking of. And Chris literally turned around and was like, he did a great job. Katie was like, and he didn't damage anything, so it was even better, you know. But Sebastian's always liked to learn new things that interest him. If it doesn't interest him, pulling teeth from a gator. If it interests him, then he's right down the gator's mouth. Like, you know, he's never been one to skirt at learning something new. And Sebastian is definitely one of those that will trudge the way. Besides playing video games, I do know that he likes to cook. I know that he does enjoy, he really likes his Legos. He loves building things. He's got several containers of Legos. You know, he likes to do that sort of stuff. He loves to build. He likes to cook. He likes playing video games. He did like doing the heavy equipment. We would go fishing, and touching the fish is kind of icky at times for him. It goes back to the fact that he doesn't like to have his fingers dirty. He doesn't like his hands dirty. I wanted him to get his therapy so that way he could start correcting his own behavior through therapy and everything else, so he could see where he needed to change. A couple years ago, I'd have told you math. This year, he pretty much was done with math. You know, numbers were his favorite subject for the last, I want to say, 2 or 3 years in California. At my house, his feet were normally clean. As for socks, he normally had a sock on. He would complain that his feet are cold all the time. And it's like, well, you have house shoes you can wear, and you have socks that you can put on. No matter how many times I told him, listen, your feet are cold and you're cold, wear a pair of socks so help keep the body heat in. Instead, he'd rather just have a blanket. But most of the time I would see him, he'd have one sock on, one sock off. And it's like, Sebastian, where's your other sock? Oh, I don't know. Sounds like we got a task in here. Let's find the other sock. There goes the next 45, 50 minutes looking for a missing sock. No, because even here with cold feet, he wouldn't put socks on. He'd have one sock on, one sock off. They don't stay on. Like, he'd go to bed with socks on, and when he woke up, he'd be barefoot. Socks are like rolled up underneath a pillow, underneath a blanket, on the other side of the bed. You know, the pair of boots that I bought him were size 10.5. Oh, that has changed throughout time. When he was younger, he didn't like meat. He wouldn't, at all. He liked his vegetables when he was a kid. He liked his oatmeal, vegetables. As he grew older, he got into the chicken nuggets. And then I remember the first time that I got him to try a hamburger. We were in South Georgia, and we're running errands. And he was in the car seat, and he was like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, okay. We went through a Wendy's. I'm going to get him, something to drink, something to eat until we got home. And I ordered me a single hamburger, and he literally took my hamburger and ate the whole thing. I was just like, the boy has eaten beef. His first burger. And after that, he started eating spaghetti and things like that. His favorite food now, he's got a lot of favorite foods. He does like his sushi. Not sushi, but he likes sushi. He likes that soybean stuff. I don't deal with that. Tofu. When we go out to have hibachi and stuff, they'll put tofu in the soup, and he'll eat it there, and it's all fine. When we're at the house, he likes his eggs. One of his favorite places to go eat is either IHOP or Waffle House because they serve breakfast. And he likes his pancakes. He likes his eggs and his bacon. He likes all cheeses, but when it comes down to his spaghetti, he just loves Parmesan cheese. He doesn't do like shredded sharp cheddar on his spaghetti. He's got to have the Parmesan. I don't believe a stranger would easily entice him. Most of the time, when he was around me, if he didn't like your attitude when you approached me, that he was confrontational, as in that's my daddy. I will mess you up. All like 4 feet of him at that point in time. But he's always been very protective of both me and his mom. My son loves to run. He's not an eloper, but he loves to run. If he were out there and running, he outruns his mama when they were doing laps, and he was in, 6th grade outrunning her, and she was active duty military. He loves to run. So, when they turn around and say a 5-mile radius, average person can walk a mile, in 40 minutes or so. And that's just do like, off to the corner store. If Sebastian was running 5 miles, ain't much.
That I've got compliments from teachers about his vocabulary usage and his wide range of vocabulary to begin with. We've got it's 6q27 chromosomal deletion syndrome, which leads to a lot of birth defects. I potty trained him 6 times. It was just like he would go to bed, and the doctor stated that he thought that maybe he was having the seizures in his sleep. Yeah. But he grew out of it. I mean, the doctor was like, they don't do anything. It's just like a little reset. Because, I think a couple times we thought that maybe he was having a seizure, but it was kind of like an absent-mindedness. He was sitting there, he would be watching TV or doing something, and then he would just stop and stare off into space. But then you could, hey, snap your fingers, get his attention, and, he'd come back to you. But there was times that he would go to bed, and when he woke up the next morning, you could just tell that he had no clue what happened for the last couple months. And Sebastian doesn't really like to talk about what he does at his mom and stepfather's. I named him. All 4 names, I named him. All 4 of them. Wayne Drake Rogers. The Wayne is my dad's name, and Drake is because he's always been my little dragon. The reason he seems like a normal boy is I didn't raise him like he had a defect. He didn't have a defect. People see it. Some people see it as a defect. Me, it's just, he's special. He wants to play on his Switch, watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Naruto. Whatever he have, or NCIS. He really likes NCIS. He worked on some puzzles. I mean, he liked Legos. So I would buy the single thing Legos, like Batman and his spaceship, or the Joker, and we would sit there and put those together. Boy's been swimming since he was a year old. My son, on the other hand, I don't think he was attracted to water. I think it was more like he liked to swim. We go fishing, and he didn't want to touch the water because it looked nasty and dirty. Because he doesn't like to get dirty. It's because he didn't like the sand. It felt weird. He likes to literally be under his bed with the flashlight playing a Switch or reading the book. My son was weird. I loved every part of it. Well, Sebastian puts his glasses on whenever he gets up out of bed. When he played on his Switch, he didn't play online with people. He played single-player games. Well, I think one of the favorite things that he likes to do with me is road trips. Me personally, I'm not a fan of road trips because he were to drive. Okay, if he were to drive some, that'd be great. But I can't even get him to sit behind the wheel in the vehicle stationary. But he likes to go on road trips with me. He liked when Christmas came around or summer break. If I could get it off, road trip. We'd go down to Texas to see his grandma and his grandpa. Drive. There's multiple different ways to get there. Drive through Missouri into Oklahoma, stop and see friends on the way. I think that's one of his favorite things to do with me is road trips. Because also at the end of road trips or in the middle of road trips, there's going to fish. When my mom and dad, his grandparents lived down in
in South Texas. We go down there and go fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Boy, love that. I mean, there was nothing like going on the boat to go fishing. I mean, he's inquisitive. He's always been inquisitive. He likes to ask the questions because he wants to know the answers. He wants to know more and more. And it's like, I'm a wealth of information, son. You want to know things? Ask me. You know, I like sharing my knowledge with him. He's my mini me. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed seeing family. He enjoyed the trip. He enjoyed the experience of it, I believe. I've been to the school. I've talked to the principal. I've talked to his teachers. I've talked to the SRO. And everybody is like, he's a wonderful kid. You know, he's always happy here. He always wants to make sure, as the SRO told me, he saw him every day. And the SRO was like, it was the same thing every day with him. He would stop the SRO and be like, how many tickets are you going to give the teacher today? He was on some medication for impulse control, for ADHD. He wasn't on anything for his autism. And he had two different types of medication they was taking. And I want to say they just switched it. But I want to say it was like Guafaced or something that he was taking. And then he was taking another medication as well, and I can't remember the name of that. And they just put him on Risperdal, or however you want to pronounce it. Try to get him to sleep at night. I didn't have a problem with him sleeping here, so I never really understood that. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but he just turned around and they removed his tonsils because he had obstructive sleep apnea. So they were trying to, they were trying to get him to quote unquote sleep. But I remember as an infant, my son, and a newborn infant sleeps like 18 hours a day. My son slept maybe 4 hours. He's always been one that does not sleep. You know, he's not perfect. Nobody is. But that doesn't mean he's a horrible person. It doesn't mean he was a horrible child. Had him set with a routine. I could get him to take a shower, eat, take a shower, lay down in bed, and he'd fall asleep in about an hour at the most. And we're talking about at like 5, 6 years old. It was all about a routine. Well, just no. I don't think he would leave with one because he's apprehensive. I mean, taught him to be aware of your surroundings is what I was teaching him. But I've also taught him that not everybody is your friend.
I mean, he loves animals. I mean, his favorite's cat, but he really likes his reptiles. He liked his horses. He liked the ducks, and conversations with him, he was talking about being a vet. Well, there's nothing better than, taking care of your own animals. But Sebastian loved to play D&D. He liked to play Magic the Gathering. When he was here, if we weren't fishing, we were playing Magic. We were going out and doing things. All he wanted to do was a road trip to Texas to go see his Meemaw and his Pat. That's it. Because we didn't get to go the year before. When we went to D&D night, there's 3 adults and then the other are all kids, like his age kids. Parents drop him off for D&D, so he's interacting with children that are his age.
Oh, boy loves video games. I think it's more like a close toss-up between animals and video games. When it comes to animals, he loves cats. Like, the boy just loves cats. He loves cats. I mean, like if he sees a stray cat, he's apt to walk up. Why is it running from me? Well, son, it's a cat. Trying to explain that to him. and not. I mean, my son got bit in the face by a dog, and he had to have 7 stitches in his face, and he still isn't scared of dogs. I mean, he's not scared of anything except for, I guess, his stepfather. I found out afterwards. I mean, I found out after my son disappeared that he was scared of his stepfather.
And it's just like one of the things that gets me is that everybody in my neighborhood, my neighbor, they know Sebastian. If me and Sebastian go to Walmart, the people that work at Walmart know my son. Oh, he doesn't know their names, but he knows that that's the lady that slices the lunch meat really good, you know. And it's just people that he interacted with, and then nobody in that neighborhood interacted with my son. What kind of structure is that?
I mean, he has touched the lives of a lot of people. He has brought joy, his smile. I mean, his behavior, his demeanor.